G'day all, Mr. Paladin here, talking about my history with Team Fortress 2. First of all, I'm old. Therefore, I'm very old school. I've been playing games since, I can't even remember how far back. I had an Atari 2600 and gaming then, back when the internet wasn't even thought of and you'd use modems to connect to bulletin board systems. So I'm old school. So, I've played first-person shooters long before Team Fortress was around. I've played Quake Deathmatch and, stuff like that. So, back then, let's see, so it was around Quake. So I was a part of playing Quake and a part of playing a lot of Quake mods. And one of the Quake mods was called Action Half-Life. And I actually ran a server for a while called the Mountain Dojo. And it was good, it helped build community, it was fun, but it was very single player. Team Fortress came out, and it was very cool because it changed the way a lot of Capture the Flag worked. Capture the Flag was the first team-based kind of games. So Team Fortress introduced a way of having classes and having a lot of variation to the way Capture the Flag was played. And that was very interesting. It got my attention, and I quickly found out about the TPF community, the Team Play First community. And, you could get into games with TPFers back in the day, and you'd know if you had a couple TPFers on your team, it was going to be a good game because you could rely on those teammates. What happened then was Valve ended up purchasing Team Fortress from the guys who made it. So it went from being a free mod for Quake to completely going off the radar. And we didn't know as a community what was going to be happening with Team Fortress. Eventually, Team Fortress itself got kind of old, and everyone kind of went on to play other games. I didn't see much of TPF at that point, and I moved on to games like Battlefield 2, and I found other gaming communities within Battlefield 2, like, what was it, Global Conflict, I think it was, where you'd get into a squad and you got to know your guys and your squad really good, how they work, and you had really good commanders, and those games were very, very good. I didn't really see Team Fortress 2 until it already hit free to play, because I had already moved on to other games, and a friend at work let me know after I was talking with him about Team Fortress, how Team Fortress 2 was now free to play, and I was like, okay, well, I'll check it out again. And I downloaded it. I remember getting my bronze mercenary badge. That's about the date that I had joined. I can't even remember the exact date because I actually trashed that badge so I could have space in my backpack because I really didn't need it. After playing for a while, I did enjoy the game, so I got premium for it. And I checked in the wiki for different achievement items and different ways I could earn the different functional items, because I didn't really care about skins or extra special hats or stuff, but I was really concerned about the items that could be used against me or the ones that I could use. So I also saw in there that there were a couple of achievement items, and like the hat that you could get for the YouTube achievement, the frontline field recorder. So I played around, I made a YouTube account, and I went into a game where I was playing really good spy stuff, and I had a good life, so I edited that up and I uploaded it to YouTube. After about a month, I think it got enough views for me to get the hat, but that wasn't really the big deal. What I quickly learned while I was playing more and more of the game is that there were some really, really bad spies out there. People who just weren't understanding what a spy does. I mean, back in my day in Team Fortress 1, if you were invisible, like you get with the cloak now, that was cheating. I mean, that person was cheating. So the fact that it was a part of the game, I was like, oh, this is like freaking God mode. You could be really good at this now. So I made more and more videos of different gameplay, and over time they've got better and better. And from there I made tutorial videos to try and help explain how the spy, should be used. I'll use those words. I think they should be used differently than what some people are using spy as now. Over that time, I met a lot of great players, as I became regulars on servers. A couple of them made the friends list. They were very like-minded players, people like YOLO and Spirit. I've done collaborations with other YouTubers. Over time, YouTube just got more and more popular, so I made more videos. I had to start my community group because my friends list pretty much couldn't contain all the requests that I was getting. So I made the community group so people could still stay in touch with me and find me in game. Then I started remembering the old feel that TPF had. You know, where you could go into a server to see there was a TPF on there and know it was going to be good gameplay. So I started looking around for a couple of the old guys from TPF and seeing what was still active. Was there any community still there? And I found one or two of the founding members and got talking with them and seeing what we had control of. And that's when we relaunched TPF. And I'd really love it if TPF got to the way it was back in the day where you could go into a server and just rely on these guys. Or if you were new and you saw a TPF, you could ask them, hey, I need help with this. Could you take some time to help me? And they might be able to spend some time with you and really give you the nuts and bolts, or at least direct you in the right direction. Now, one of the things that's happening with any large group is, of course, you're going to have a combination of trolls who want to try and smear the name of TPF. They're like, haha, Mr. Paladin's making a group about good players. I'm going to come in there and I'm just going to be, you know, a really, really derpy player and I'm going to troll him. Yeah, let's troll him. Yeah, you're going to get those type of players, okay? I can't do anything about that. There's nothing that forces you to have the name TPF or to not wear it. But, you know, because popular people are using the TPF, there's going to be wannabes who wear the TPF and they don't really fit the persona that we're going for. All we can do is control it on our own servers. So if we see people doing that, they'll be banned off our servers pretty darn fast and kicked out of the group. But yeah, that's pretty much where it is. That's all the defining moments that I can remember with TF2. I mean, where I'm at today is the channel is growing crazy. I'm meeting more and more other YouTubers like Dane and Array, and I wish I could meet with Muzok, but you know he's half a world away, so it's going to be hard to do a game with that. But yeah, I mean that's where I'm at. I think I'm well known in the TF2 community. I'm well known amongst the TPFers, and here's only hoping that we get better and better games. But I do know sometime in the future that TF2 will age itself and there's going to be something to replace it, and people are always going to be around. So, you know, surround yourself with like-minded people. Get people on your friends list you enjoy playing with and have a great time. Thanks for watching. I hope this helps you in your future endeavors.
Hello, fellow ladies and gentlemen of TPF, and welcome to today's episode of Stories of TPF. Today's guest is Mr. Paladin. Thanks for joining me for this interview today.
Oh, no problem at all.
All right, let's hop to the first few questions. First of all, your real name. I guess everyone would like to know it.
My real name, I'm currently not giving out my real name, not just yet. The channel is starting to go more and more social, and I'm being more and more active on things like Twitter and Facebook, and like turning up to events and inviting people to meet me at places. So I fully expect my name to get out there real soon. But I'm not putting out my full name just yet. You can call me Mr.P, Pally, or Mr. Paladin. That should be good.
All right, you heard it, guys. And I think most people are perfectly fine with that, including me. Well, next question would be your birthday.
My birthday, the exact birth date, for security reasons, I won't give you, but I will say it is November of 1976.
All right. What country are you from? We all know you're Australian. You're at the moment living in Atlanta, right?
Yeah, I'm living south of Atlanta, Georgia. But yeah, I was born south of Sydney in Australia, but in my teenage years, I was further north on the Sunshine Coast above Brisbane. Always on the East Coast, never really strayed too far from East Coast Australia.
All right. Next up, well, I guess everyone's just gonna laugh if I'm asking you for your main class, so I'm just skipping to your main subclass.
My main class is awesome.
It is. So I'm just gonna skip to your main subclasses.
Okay. Oh, was that the question?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so if Spy is not available to me, if I find the team needs to have damage dealt, I'll go Soldier. If I have some other people who are good on the team, I totally don't mind going medic. I enjoy medic. It's very similar. The way you have to move as a medic to avoid damage is the same as what you'd have to do as a spy. So I gel on that pretty good. And on rare occasions, I would jump into pyro or engineer if the team needs it. What I'll do is I'll look at what the team needs and I'll just jump into what's needed. And I'll avoid classes though. I'll usually avoid sniper and I'll avoid scout because I don't really enjoy them, and I'll only go demo man if there's like a huge nest of sentries that need to be taken out and I just can't get it with my soldier.
You know how a spy thinks. You always seem to get any spy if you play pyro.
Well, no, well, I have had a few. There's been a few community members, especially in TPF. Like Liza is a guy who's been around for quite a while, and he's a spy after my own heart. He's very sneaky, doesn't do too many trick stabs unless the trick stab is needed, and he'll get around. So when I'm pyro, I seriously am looking at my team, going, "Why are you guys not seeing this? I can see it, but he's always staying far enough away that my pyro can't catch him." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So he's just staying just out of reach. So
Yeah, he's a good spy, and there's several others in the community that are pretty much the same. Like Puppy, if you've played a few games recently, he's
yeah,
decent.
he is. I hope that I'm getting anywhere near that skill level anytime soon.
But that takes time and practice.
Well, sure does. I mean, I started out in October 2014, so all right. Next question would be, how did that Mr. add to Mr. P again?
Okay, yeah, that came about because, well, the name Paladin itself came because I liked role-playing games, and Paladin is a class for a holy knight, you know, a blessed warrior, whatever you want to call it. But as the internet started taking off in Australia, I quickly found out that, well, it's a popular name. You know, there's lots of Paladins around. And a friend I was renting the apartment with, he was playing a lot of Quake, I think it was, and he had a Quake clan called the Mr. Men, based after there's a children's comic book. I don't know if it's in America or not, called the Mr. Men, and you had like Mr. Happy, Mr. Tickle, Mr. Angry, and stuff like that. So in his clan, you just put Mr. in front of your name, and that made you part of the clan. So, you know, I threw that on, and it kind of stuck.
All right. What is it exactly that makes you enjoy Spy the most?
Let's see, that's a very big question. I like understanding the game, and in order to play Spy well, I think you really have to understand the game on all its levels. Like the guy you're looking at that you're attempting to kill, which way is he gonna go? What is he thinking? What's he gonna do after he sees one of your teammates? Stuff like that, and you can't do that just after you've plugged into the game.
Understandable. Some spies claim the spy to be a class played by men that have that plan ahead, that have it in their mind. Other people say that you need that knowledge within your guts, that it's basically more feel than think. What do you think?
It is a little bit of both. I mean, you can have a plan, but you also have to have the reactions when things go downhill. I mean, okay, you could be planning to go after the heavy medic, but suddenly a pyro turns up on your right side, so you have to know that you have to quickly try and matador because that's your only hope right there.
All right. So, what is your worst class?
My worst class is it's a toss-up between Sniper and Scout for two reasons. One, I've come from the old version of Team Fortress, and in the old version of Team Fortress, you didn't have quick scoping. The Sniper would have to, you know, hard scope. So that's what I learned on. So I understand quick scoping, I understand how it works. I just don't gel with the mechanics. So I tend not to go Sniper because I know there's a lot of other snipers who have practiced it and they're very good at it. As for Scout, I don't mind the class. It's kind of fun to play, but I'll often find when I'm jumping around that I'm expecting to have a double jump, but the item that I've been standing on has been a different object on the map, and it won't let me double jump. So I've had too many situations of that, so it's got me annoyed at it. So I tend not to do scout because of that. It's fun to play if you get a good flow going, but it's not one of my favorite classes.
Right. It seems that your go-to class once you can't play spy is soldier, especially with the Beggar's Bazooka, which is already famous on the TPF servers. What made you branch out to that specific class?
Okay, well, what happens is, as a spy, if I'm not doing well, I don't want to try and brag too much here, but it's usually not my fault these days. I tend to be waiting for situations, but if a spy is getting caught a lot, it's usually because there's not enough distraction from your other teammates in order to do what you need to do. So what I find myself doing is like, well, I'll bring that muscle. I'll bring the extra damage that the team needs to keep punching forwards. So while you can do that as soldier with just about any weapon, I have a lot of fun with the beggars in particular. It's not highly accurate. You got to get up close and personal. I've gotten really good at jumping with it. So I don't know. I just have fun. I don't really have an explanation of why I find it more fun than the other rocket launchers, because the other rocket launchers tend to be more powerful than it. But I don't know. I guess it's more my slinking away kind of things I do with the spy, so that, as I slink away, I'm loading rockets and then I unload them on the corner, and I've been getting kills. I don't know. I just gel with it, and I tend to do better with it just because I've practiced more with it, I guess.
Right, makes sense. Well, you're known for being a sneaky, strategic kind of spy that does see teleporters imminent threat to the defense team. What do you think of purely aggressive spies that just try to chain as many stabs as they can before kicking the bucket?
I mean, if they get the stabs, then that's all well and good as well. I mean, you just got to make sure your life counts. You can stab a sniper all day long or shoot a sniper all day long, but if that sniper hasn't really been hampering your team, then it doesn't make much point in killing them. What you want to focus on instead is the enemy MVPs. Their medics. Make sure they don't get Ubers, or as you pointed out, the teleporters, making it so that when your team kills an enemy, they're not back to the front line at a great speed. Make sure they have to take a long time walking, because that's going to spread them out, and that's going to set up more situations where your teammates who are defending maybe get 2-on-1, 3-on-1, 4-on-1 situations, and your team just ends up holding a solid defense, and meanwhile the enemy's struggling trying to work out what's going on.
And if one enemy has a hard time dealing with multiple of your people, then they're going to be distracted a lot more, making it easier for the spy again.
Absolutely. I mean, and then that opens it up for your spies, so they start getting their stabs in. But the enemies spread out, so they can pick off those single targets that are busy trying to just travel back to the front lines. And then you have the poor MVP who happens to be on the enemy team, and he might be doing great. He might be getting, kill streaks of 5+ each life, but that's every life, and he's every life trying to overcome an overwhelming odds against him. So, all in all, if you do the math, it ends up doing well for your team.
All right, how good is your ambassador aim? The Latran J doesn't really help the Dead Ringer anymore, so what revolver will you default to now?
You know what? Since the gunmetal update, I haven't been defaulting to any of the revolvers. Like always, when I use a Latran J for a while and then I switch to another revolver, I'm always reminded how much more powerful the other revolvers are than the Latran J. But I don't know, if it's a sniper favoring type map, I will go to the ambassador. Stuff like Sujin or Thunder Mountain, somewhere that has lots of nice side routes where you can pick off a few shots before slinking away. Or the ambassador's even good for when you've been outed and you're trying to back up and they're just trying to chase you. You can pop off a few shots. But really, I haven't been defaulting to anything. I've probably been defaulting to the default revolver, just with all the extra skins and stuff. But yeah, I've been switching it up to taste.
All right. How did you get into Team Play First for the first time? I mean, you have been in Team Fortress Classics TPF, haven't you?
Yeah, a long time ago, back in Team Fortress Original, the Quake World Team Fortress, I remember getting into TPF kind of early, and I remember a lot of the old names in the TPF group. And what it was I tended to find that games that had TPF players, you could count on them on your team. And recently, with the updates and stuff going around, I was finding more and more games in Team Fortress 2 to be lacking in teamwork. And I'm like, you know what? Now's probably a good time to see if TPF is still around. Because after Team Fortress died out and we went on to other games, the group itself didn't kind of hang around. So I went looking up all the old websites, seeing who was still around. I found Tux was still around and a couple of the other names. And, I asked him, is it still alive? Are we in control of any of the stuff? And I let him know, you know what? When you're ready, let me know, and I'll try and give TPF a boost and see if we can remind people what team play is about.
All right. I've heard that Team Play First was actually one of the reasons why Spirit didn't stop playing Team Fortress 2 by now. Did you try to, I don't know, put some more pressure on the project? Like, did you pull the trigger earlier just in order to, I don't know, save Team Fortress 2 for Spirit?
Well, I know that I had told Tux, a couple times, I'm ready to pull the trigger whenever you're ready. And I would ask him every now and then, and he's got a real life, he's got other stuff going on. He's not, trapped by doing TPF or anything. But yeah, when the gunmetal came out and so many people were so ticked off with the way that the nerfs and the buffs happened, I'm like, you know what? It's got to happen now. This is just the time.
So it was basically a gunmetal countermeasure.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right. Try hard is not a four-letter word. Beautiful line.
Absolutely.
Do you have any idea how we could spread that way of thinking? That being a tryhard in a way of trying hard to help your team at all costs.
At the end of a game, instead of saying good game, say thank you for trying, team. Actually thank people for putting in their time and effort into helping you win. You'll see often in my videos, I think even How a Spy Thinks number 7, there were 2 occasions where I thanked my teammates for being there when I needed to fall back or I was in a stressed kind of situation.
Right. So basically, instead of just writing GG, just to write GG, actually try to give your co-players a good feeling for trying.
Yeah. Or use voice comms during the game itself. You'll be surprised how many games are different just when someone starts speaking up and talking and trying to direct teams to doing something. Teams are often just waiting for a leader who knows what they're talking about to just give a few suggestions. So I'll be in games and I'll be like seeing, things are going good. And then I'll see a bunch of things pop up in the kill feed and I'll check the scoreboard and I'll notice that, hey, the enemy team only has 5 alive and most of us are alive. So I remind the team, hey, the enemy team only has 5 alive. We outnumber them about 3-1 right now. Let's all just go in.
Yeah, I've heard you call out MVP deaths as well. That's just like the same. The most dangerous enemies are dead, so now or never.
Absolutely, yep. If you see a couple of the MVPs are down, the other players who may still be good on the other team might not be able to handle your MVPs moving in on them.
Right. Next question would be, what does TPF mean to you personally?
Ooh.
I mean, not only on a playstyle level, but also the group itself. What does it mean to you personally?
Well, at the moment, it started out as a pet project again. I want to see it grow. I want to see it do well. people have been trying to attack it. It doesn't really bother us because, you know, those attacks don't go anywhere. They don't mean anything to us because, you know, it's not, you can't attack an ideal, right? And the ideal is it doesn't matter what server you're on or where you're playing, it's how you play the game. And it's not just this game, it's a whole bunch of other games. So I don't know. How does it feel to me personally? I just wanna keep bumping into people who are wearing the tag and living the lifestyle, living the type of gameplay I would expect out of a TPFer. Not just wearing the tag just because I'm wearing it or Spirit's wearing it or somebody they know wears it. Understand what it means to be trying to help and be trying to do your best in each game.
Right. About those tries to attack TPF, or rather the TPF servers, those DDoS attacks. Afterwards, some people just followed me on a random pub, and I think, yeah, you followed us later on as well. May I reset you there? It's not the server that makes the people, it's the people that make the server. So basically, if we work together on a random Valve public server, we're basically turning this server into a TPF server because the ideal is there.
Yep, exactly. And that's one of the things I had said. You know, I'd love TPF to even go into Valve servers and stuff, because there's a big stigma right now in the community that, oh, why should you care about playing? You're on a Valve server, or you're on a insert any server here. And it's like, that's not the case, guys. You should always be trying to play the game. That's the game. And they counter with, well, you should go to a pickup game or a comp game if you're actually wanting, you know, gameplay. No, that comp and pugs need third-party software in order to run. They're not a part of the core game. And until you have matchmaking in the game, public games are the game. So play the game.
I agree on that too. Exactly this. So, does being community help being able to work as a team in your eyes? Like, if everyone knows each other more, for example, via Wolfsbane's TPF talk, maybe even through my videos, if people get to know each other better via that, do you think that getting to know each other better will help teamwork at all? I mean, in itself, within the group?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, before I launched TPF, I kept urging people to join a local community server to them. Whatever server is a low ping in your country, and just start being a regular there. And as you start playing there, you'll see more and more familiar names as you're playing. Get them on your friends list, get to understand how they play, and then you'll get situations like we have in the current TPF games where if I see you, or if I see Wolfsbane, or if I see Puppy, or a couple, you know, Polly, if I see them, I can understand how they're going to play without having to ask them what their loadout is. You know, I just see them walk past and it's like, yes, I can help you in this situation right now because I've played enough games with you to understand how your mind's starting to tick.
You heard it right there, peeps. I guess a question that is frequently asked to you, and probably, yeah, it's been answered a lot, but just for the sake of having this question here, do you accept people from TPF into your friends list?
On rare occasions, if someone's been in the community a while, I have added them. If it's somebody I don't know, you know, I can't, because there's just too many people. There's more people than what I have rooms on my friends list, so I have to be selective about who I add. I usually add people I have business dealing with, or people who have donated directly. They make it onto the friends list, and I tag their name saying they are an active supporter. But I have to be real selective as to who makes the friends list, because there's just not room. As you see, if you go to my Steam community group, there's like 15,000 people And there's absolutely no mathematical way I could have 15,000 people who all want to be on my friends list also from my group.
Yeah, exactly. You would have to, I don't know, level up your Steam level into higher than it actually works.
Yeah. And even then, what functionality would you want to be on my friends list? I mean, I'm pretty open and easy to reach. Sending messages on one of the few ways to get in touch with me usually gets a response. So, you don't need friends list for that. If you need to know where I play, that can be found just straight from my Steam group. You can either go to the members tab to see if I'm playing, or go into the Mumble that we talk at and see if I'm in a game there, So you don't need to be on my friends list for that. It just doesn't provide any functionality that you'd want.
Yeah, absolutely. And since someone else already asked that question to me recently, is do you sign stuff? I know the answer, but for example, Mr. Extraordinary wants you to sign his $80 Shell Shocker rocket launcher that he uncrated recently, and well, he wasn't sure if he could ask you or not.
Yeah, well, the people who are in the community and I've played, like Mr. Extraordinary, how do you say it? Mr. Extraordinary? Yeah, I guess that's right. He's been in the community a while. I know he's not just trying to get me to sign something so he can turn around and sell it on some trading website. But I have a few people, like I recently got a request from somebody who had a trade TF tag on their name, and I hadn't been in game with them before, and they wanted to know if I'd sign their thing. And I'm like, I can't, because I don't know if you're doing it because you're a fan or if you're doing it because you're wanting to resale. So, just hang out in the community a while. Let me get to know you. Let me get to understand that you're probably going to use this item and keep it. And sure, I'll sign it up. I mean, it's no cost to me.
Exactly, because if you sign anything, he's gonna be the one who provides the gift wrap anyway.
Yeah. See, and that's the thing you got to watch with people signing. You have to gift me the gift wrap and the item, and you have to trust that I just don't say, well, that never happened.
If you take a look at my inventory, I've had even my Australian ambassador being signed by community members. So just to get you right there, me asking you to sign my Black Rose was not because you're Mr.Paladin, the YouTuber. It was because you're a well-respected and well-known TPF member. All right?
Oh, thank you for the kind words.
Well, I also didn't want a wrong stigma on the rose. I mean, I don't want people to think that I've had it signed by you because you are you, basically. All right. Yeah. So I guess let's tell it to Extraordinary via this video. Just ask him. He's probably gonna sign it.
But that goes for any guys in the community. I mean, the guys who have been there for a while, if they want something signed and they want to get a gift wrap, knock yourself out. No, it's no sweat off my back. I'm just looking out for the people who are just trying to turn around an item on a trade server.
Right. Are there any people, any specific members of the community that you want to call out to for whatever reasons, for trying to get the community together, for playing well? Anyone you want to shout out to? Now's your chance, Paladin.
I want to say a big thank you to the people who have been helping me with the channel itself and with the groups itself. I mean, a lot of people are taking up their time and their effort. Tux is putting in a lot of money and hours into getting things up. I have people on the channel who do things for me, like doing the thumbnails and stuff. I try and concentrate on putting up content and keeping people entertained and educated and stuff. So some of these other tasks that people are doing around TPF and around my channel, I greatly, I don't know how to express how much thanks I have for the people doing that.
Right. How about you just say thank you to them by name right now?
By name, I got the list is too long, man. List is too long. I've got like 15 people who have helped me over time with different thumbnails. I've got several people who are hosting servers worldwide, and then I've got the other YouTubers out there who just drop my name into their video and stuff like that. The list is incredibly big.
All right, then not. I guess anyone who watches this video will know if they are meant by this.
Yes. I'm specifically speaking to you, the listener. You. I'm thanking you for listening right now.
All right, I guess this about sums up today's interview. Thanks for taking your precious time. It's been a real pleasure having you here.
Absolutely. Thanks for inviting me. It's been fun.
All right, everyone, if you want your own story to be told in a later episode, feel free to send it to spyfang@gmail.com. Also, feel free to add your Steam profile link so that I can contact you with more ease. Like if you did, subscribe to get to know the community more and share among other TPF members so that we have the chance to become even more of a community. Have an awesome day, everyone. See you soon and enjoy the weather if it's sunny over there as well. Bye.